Hello and welcome to episode 68 of Ready to Mosh. I'm Kev P, and alongside me is the sleepy to my hollow, it's Gem G.
Hello.
Hello.
You alright?
Yeah, toasty.
It is a bit toasty.
It's very, very warm today. So today we are going to start talking about the first 3 days at download. That's Wednesday through to Friday.
And I suppose we better start at the beginning then with the journey in.
Yeah, pretty traumatic.
Yeah, compared to a lot of people's, probably
not. People are going to think, why are you bitching about the length of time it took you to get in?
But it still took a long time.
Yeah.
We set off at 7:30 in the morning and we parked up about 10:15.
Yeah.
So normally it takes us 40 minutes to get to download. And yeah, 2 hours 45, so...
A much, much longer time.
Yeah. And that's with us setting off early, so good job we did, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We ended up actually pretty much in the same spot.
We did, yeah.
That we did last year. And we set off an hour earlier. Or an hour and a half earlier, actually. We left at about 9 last year, I think.
I think we did, yeah. We thought we'd set off earlier this year, and even though we thought we might get the rush hour traffic, we didn't actually stop until we got pretty much on the outskirts of Donington.
Yeah, we were pretty close, weren't we?
Mm.
It wasn't until you come onto the tiny little road near the airport.
Yeah. So we didn't do badly until then, really. We got there in about 40 minutes, and then we just sat for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Crawling.
Crawling.
Looking at the faces of annoyed people who were clearly on their way to work.
Yeah, on the way to work, on the way to the airport. Some people really pissed off.
Yes. But on the flip side to that, normally we have a relatively okay-ish journey because we go early, and then we have to queue to get into the RIP entrance. And this time we turned off for that, and it was pretty much straight in. I think there were about 2 cars in front of us queuing.
There was, yeah.
Waiting for the dog sniff, though.
Yeah, it was pretty dead at that point.
So although a lot of cars were queuing along Melbourne Road, they were obviously heading towards the, was it the West car park that's on that road, and then the metal car park for the pre-pitched RIP options. So there wasn't that many people actually turning off.
Yeah, that bit was really easy.
So anyway, we're going to do a separate episode on the whole RIP experience. So we're not going to mention too much about that in this episode. We'll just give a little bit of an overview of what we proceeded to do on Wednesday.
Yeah, so I suppose kind of like once we got set up and everything, one of the first things we did, I think, was, did we go to the co-op?
The first thing we did was crack a beer.
Oh, well, because of that. Well, I was drinking cider.
Cider.
You might have cracked a beer.
We both had ciders, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
It's just a turn of phrase, isn't it? Crack a beer. Crack a cider doesn't sound the same. We had a beverage.
Yeah, so we had something to drink, and then kind of headed up to the co-op quite early.
Yeah, just to pick up mixers, because it just saves carrying them in the car, doesn't it?
Yeah, nice and easy.
And it wasn't too busy in the co-op at that point, pretty much straight in.
Yeah, there was no queue to get in at that time. So we made the trip over about midday.
Yeah, I think it was about then.
When we got to the co-op as well, we'd consider going for merch, and the queue was absolutely crazy at that time.
Yeah, in retrospect, it was probably one of the shorter queues that we saw.
Yeah, probably was. Because
yeah, we just thought maybe it'll be quieter at another time once everyone got the merch, but no, that wasn't meant to be.
No. No, but we'll go into that later.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, so we didn't bother going for the merch then. Went and got the mixes we wanted from the co-op. Had a nice little gentle stroll back.
And I think pretty much the rest of the afternoon was sat outside the tent.
Drinking, eating.
Snacking, listening to a bit of music.
Yeah.
At one point, we actually went up and sat on the communal benches.
Yeah, it was just a nice little kind of bit up there, isn't there? So when I had to sit on there.
Yeah, a bit of a change of scene for later in the afternoon. And then we had a barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
The first one?
The first one, the best one. I'll say that because I had lamb.
Oh, okay. I say, much of a muchness to me.
I love my lamb. Yeah. So then we had the barbecue, and then I feel like I went to sleep after that.
You did. So then I wanted to nip over to the courtyard for the first act that was on there, so I left you behind. But when I got there, well, not when I got there, a little bit later, after I'd been sat waiting, it transpired that they were running behind schedule. So more about that in the RIP episode. But yeah, so I went back to the tent to find you asleep.
Yeah, quite enough. I needed a nap.
And at that point, I thought, well, I'll just lie down, wait for you to wake up. And I also had a nap. That's how old we are.
Yeah.
We'd been at download approximately 8 hours.
8 hours.
And we needed a nap.
Needed a nap.
It's been a long day already.
Yeah.
And then I think we woke up about 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I think it was. And that
Took a bit of, what's the word?
readjusting, acclimatising.
Yeah, waking up.
Yeah, and then we headed back to the courtyard.
Couple of drinks for a bit.
Yeah.
And then called it a day, so not an amazingly exciting
No,
one.
not really exciting at all.
Compared to some, but it was all right.
There's no major blowout, was there?
No.
I think it was kind of like peaking a little bit too soon and then just needed a nap.
It was those pesky shots we had.
Yeah, I should have never took those.
Squashy's vodka. Yeah, a lot to answer for.
Yeah, definitely.
On Thursday then?
Yeah, Thursday.
So on to Thursday then.
Mm-hmm.
And we started the day with barbecue breakfast.
Yeah.
And then I went up to Rockfit.
You did, yeah. How was it?
It was good, yeah. Rockfit was on 4 times, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday was the only one I made it to, and that was the only definite one I intended to make it to, because I didn't need to wash my hair or anything that day. Bands weren't on too early, so I knew that I could kind of get there, get back at a nice steady pace, and
do things in your own time.
Yeah, but it was a really good class. It was one that Hannah was leading, who is the founder of Rockfit, and I've never done a live class with her, so that was really good to do. And there were loads of the other instructors there as well. Caught up with some people who I knew and who I'd met last year. So that was good. So yeah, it was a good hour-long class. I think there's about 200 people there.
Wow, that's gone up a lot from kind of how it started.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, it was a good download-related playlist that we had. We had a marriage proposal in the middle of it.
Of course.
As you do, which was kind of pre-planned, but no one else knew about it. There was a mankini worn, as you do. And yeah, it was a good fun hour. Highly recommend if they're at Download next year. We'll always say that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you enjoy doing it, don't you?
But yeah, added to my step count for the day.
Yeah, it would have done, yeah.
Interesting, the village was absolutely packed when I was walking through it, especially on the way back. Which I remember when I went up for Rockfit last year on the Thursday, was nowhere near as busy at that time.
Was there anything in particular, or was it just people taking stuff to the tents, or...?
There was a few people who'd obviously just turned up taking their stuff, but it was just generally people milling, sitting around, getting food, just generally being there. I mean,
probably just enjoying the weather.
Yeah, and the queues for Co-op and the merch megastore were huge on the way there and on the way back. I think I actually filmed a bit of a clip of it, actually. And then when I got back, did we have another barbecue?
Yes, we did.
I think there was 2 barbecue Thursday.
Double barbecue Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, because we had a later-ish start than for bands, so we fed ourselves. So we had a steady get ready after food, and I had a wander. I think we went to the guest area first, didn't we, to pick up a drink?
Yes, we did, because we got quite a bit of time.
Yeah, so we had a steady wander over there. Had a mooch around the guest area, picked up a drink, and then had a stroll up to the Dogtooth.
Which took a lot longer than expected.
Get into the Dogtooth?
Yeah. It just felt further away.
Everything felt further away.
Yeah.
And it felt like by Sunday it got even further away as it got hotter every day.
No, but it did feel like the Dogtooth had moved further up the hill. It looked to be in the same place, but it felt a lot longer.
I think it's because the walk from the guest area was longer.
I suppose it could be, yeah.
Actually, where you got into the arena, I think that's what it was.
Which we'll, again, go into in the RIP episode, but...
And the fact there was just more stalls and more people to worm through kind of added to it,
that
I would say.
Took a lot of doing. That's the one thing about the whole weekend. It would, the amount of people, I can't remember the last time I saw it like that. For
me, I'm sure Guns N' Roses Saturday in 2018, because that was sold out for the day. I think that would have been the last time it was that busy.
It just seemed busier than that every day.
I think half the problem was because a lot of people, I think more people had chairs and more people lying down on the grass, so people kind of spread more and it was harder to work through people, would you say?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It is more difficult when that happens, but...
I mean, weirdly, I did kind of get used to it. I didn't like it, but I kind of just got used to it being difficult to get through. And
part of it's probably because there was more people around the areas where we're not expecting to see people. So you talk about the path being longer. You used to come out further up the hill. So probably that's why the walk feels longer anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That would make sense.
Yeah. And... yeah, we wormed our way through, like you said, and went to go and watch our first band, the festival.
Snakes. Not snacks.
No, not snacks.
Which they said themselves, I'm sure.
I can't remember them saying that.
I'm sure they did.
Can't remember.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been really getting into these, and I was really looking forward to seeing them. And they did not disappoint. I thought they were amazing.
Yeah, I was really impressed by them as well. They were kind of not a definite for me.
Yeah.
But I'd kind of always said, if you're going and I've got nothing else to do, I'll just tag along. And yeah, glad I did.
Yeah, we got a really good view for them. The performance was excellent. They got quite a decent crowd, so they're one of the first bands on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, they did get a decent crowd, but I think it's probably the emptiest I saw the Dogtooth all weekend.
It was.
Obviously, because they were first on, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, they absolutely nailed it. I thought they were fantastic. And I do want to see them again, so...
I think they are touring, aren't they?
They are, but I feel like the day that they're touring close to us, we're at another festival.
I think we are. I was going to say we're either at something else or we're on holiday.
Yeah, we're at a festival.
Okay. That's just rude, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next up was Mammoth, WVH, on the main stage.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a massive fan of.
You're not a Mammoth fan?
I'm not a Mammoth fan, no. But I appreciate what he does, and he's trying to make his own name and not do what people have said and go, oh, it's just because of who he is. And
yeah. No, I thought he put on a solid performance.
Yeah, it was faultless. It was an absolutely faultless performance. Not really my kind of thing, but just kind of good to listen to.
Yeah, I think on a nice sunny day, which it was, it really suited the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It was a good way to kick off the main stage. I expect him back in future years.
Yeah,
Working up the bill.
Yeah, potentially. So after that, we decided we'd go and get a drink and went back to the guest area.
Yeah, a bit of a refreshment break because we had a bit of a gap between bands.
Yeah, and then came back and then we realised we had to get to the second stage.
Which was a trek.
Which was a hell of a trek, yeah.
But worth it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. One of the bands of the weekend, I think. For me, I think the performance was solid. They played everything I wanted to hear.
Have we said who we're talking about?
No. I thought you were going to do it.
Oh, I thought you were. Anyway, it was the Bronx.
It was the Bronx, yeah.
Yeah, they were really good. It's the first time you'd seen them as well, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Mm. Which I still can't understand how.
Neither can I.
It's like there are so many playlists I've got, and I don't understand how I've missed them every time.
Anyway, you tick them off now.
I've ticked them off now, yeah.
And you won't miss them again, I'm sure.
No, yeah, they were absolutely amazing. So then after the Bronx, we had a bit of a gap, and we then watched 100 Reasons.
That was fun.
That was fun. It's been a long time since I've seen them, but they're still a top band, played some great stuff, and delivered as they always do. Although that seemed one of the quietest days on the second stage, I think, for anybody that I saw playing. Yeah,
it definitely wasn't as busy till probably the last band that were on, when it was very busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good solid set from them. They played some of the new stuff and some of the classics.
Yeah, I think they played what everybody wanted to hear, didn't they? It was a good mix of new and old.
Yeah.
And again, vocally superb, musically superb. Just no faults at all. It's just kind of like what you expect from 100 Reasons.
Yeah.
Just a really cool, solid set.
And it was around this time that I discovered the female urinals.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about those.
I thought they were worth a mention.
Yeah.
So it's a point of interest. So we were, as you look at second stage, we were on the left-hand side, and there was a sign for female toilets. So I was like, well, may as well make use of them while I'm here. And as I walked in, I was greeted by two people explaining how to use them, which baffled me a little because I'm like, surely I know how to use a toilet.
You should at your age.
Well, you'd hope, wouldn't you? But yeah, it was an interesting concept. Kind of worked. I can see why it wouldn't work for some people. Like if you're not particularly, I wouldn't say I was particularly mobile or with a good sense of balance, but you did have a pole to hold on to while you squatted. So
you basically pissed and pole danced?
Pretty much, yeah, I guess. Yeah, it was a bit bizarre. It was quite cool because there was like a pole to hold yourself back up again, and you could see the stage while you were sorting yourself out. And
any awkward eye contact?
When you stood up, no, it was just fun. Everyone was just smiling and waving at each other as you do. So definitely convenient. Definitely nice to be in the fresh air. More hygienic than a Portaloo if you have to use
Yeah, but the smell wasn't as bad.
Exactly. So that was definitely a bonus. I think the two downsides to them for me, if we're doing a full review at this point of a female urinal, were that you weren't actually provided with tissue. So, you'd have to waft yourself if you didn't have any on you. A bit of drip dry. Fortunately, I'm always prepared for such things, and I always carry tissues with me at a festival because you never know. Generally, toilets are better than they used to be. There's usually always toilet rolling these days, but you never know. And then the other downside was you couldn't actually tell if someone was in one before you walked up the step to it. So you could have walked in on someone quite easily. So I made sure I put my bag at the top of the steps so nobody walked in on me. But yeah, that was another negative. And they were plastic, and it did feel a bit like you were climbing into a kid's kind of play area. Because it was like bright coloured plastic, almost like, not stick or bricks, Lego.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a benefit, I would say.
Okay. It's actually the first time I've noticed there were more women's toilets than men's toilets this year as well.
I didn't generally notice overall, but apart from that being specifically, because there were no men's down that side, all the others I thought were side by side. What I saw.
Yeah, they were side by side, yeah.
But then again, you lot just wheel up the fences anyway, don't you?
Quite sexist.
It's true though, isn't it?
No, not all of us do.
That's true. I've never known you do that.
There you go.
It is generally rife, although I did like the fact that the toilets at the side of the second stage, on the other side, right-hand side, where the old piss wall, as it were, usually were actual toilets. And there was a fence in front of the wall, so you couldn't...
piss against it.
Yeah, shall we go back to the music after that interlude?
After that little interlude, yeah, let's go back to the music.
I think after then we actually went and picked our chairs up from the campsite.
We did. I came back with them.
I came with you,
Did you come with me?
To be honest,
I carried them both.
I can't remember.
I thought I'd carried them both back. Yeah.
Don't know what I was doing then.
Who knows? And then we went to go and watch a band that I've been dying to see, which were Pucifer.
And I'll let you take the lead on this one because you were dying to see them. How were they for you?
Fucking incredible. Oh, yeah, amazing. Oh, they were probably the band I wanted to see the most over the weekend, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. And they didn't disappoint. It's like such kind of like clear, crisp vocal and music was just perfect.
They were good, yes. I was impressed by them. I'm not familiar with really a lot of what they've done.
Yeah.
But it was a good performance nonetheless.
They played a hell of a lot of stuff that I love. And it was just great to finally get to see Pucifer. I mean, obviously it makes sense because I'm a fan of Tool, but yeah, they were spot on.
Next up was one of my disappointments of the Thursday in that I missed Alter Bridge, which was self-inflicted, I know. But just the thought of having to walk to the main stage to watch Alter Bridge and then come back for Skindred at that point in time, I foregoed it. Foregoed?
I think I know what you're saying, but I don't know what you're saying.
There was a bit of a theme developing over the weekend, wasn't there, where we just had to make some decisions to avoid the heat.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what happened, isn't it?
But we did wait for Skindred. We moved to the other side of the other side of the second stage to get a better view because it wasn't quite so packed on the other side. Yeah,
it was a lot thinner, and you wanted to get quite close in, didn't you? And I was kind of like, well, I'm quite happy to just sit down, look after the chairs, I'll be fine here.
Yeah, so I left you behind in your armchair.
Oh, yeah.
From a distance.
You know.
Yeah, and I went pretty much on the kind of the second barrier.
Yeah.
Which is a really good spot. I had a really good view from there. And Skindred were just awesome.
Yeah, Benji knows how to work a crowd, doesn't he?
We've spoke about them so much.
So many times. Yeah.
So many times, but yeah, never disappoint.
No, I've never seen a bad Skindred performance.
No.
I feel like every chance they get to do something, they give it everything.
Yeah.
I don't know how they find the energy or the will to kind of keep doing it.
But they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, played all the classics and some new stuff.
Yeah, they did, yeah. I think did they start with Set Phasers?
I think they did, yeah.
They played Set Phasers and they played Give Me That Boom.
And LOVE.
Or Boom Boom, as somebody in the crowd said.
Yeah.
And Benji lost his shit.
Yeah. Yeah, was it 4 new tracks they played?
I think there was, yeah. I feel like it was 4. Can't think what the fourth one was.
I can't either.
No.
But yeah, and all the classics that you'd expect. Nobody. That's My Jam. Whoop, whoop.
Warning,
obviously. Had to finish with Warning and Newport Helicopter.
Yeah, Newport Helicopter. It was great to see again. Pressure. Kind of like just a mix of really good Skindred stuff. They played some really early stuff as well.
They did actually, didn't they?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. I think it was really, really early stuff.
Do you know what we could do? We could have a quick look at the set list.
Okay.
Pause. So yeah, they did 14 tracks in total. And for Warning, they brought out Lizzie Hale. So didn't get to see Hailstorm, but did get to see Lizzie Hale before.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
Which is random. I wasn't expecting it. You know, sometimes, I think we said in the preview, we kind of had an inkling about potential collaborations.
Yeah.
That one was not on my
radar. That was not on the list at all. So yeah, Skins keep raising the game every time they play, so who knows, they'll probably be back next year. They're always somewhere.
I'm sure Benji pretty much said at the end, we'll see you again soon, download. So, and given that they were drafted in last minute for this one, they could already be booked
for next year, yeah.
But they're just like the download staple residents. The residents are
download, yeah.
And then the final band of the evening was Metallica Part 1. Which I enjoyed with some cheesy chips.
Oh, did you? I thought we had rosemary chips.
That was on Saturday.
Okay.
I had cheesy chips, and I think you had brisket chips or something.
Oh, yeah. I think I ordered the wrong ones. I wanted the pulled pork ones.
Oh.
I ordered the wrong chips.
But... Anyway, Metallica and snacks to end the night. The worst ways to end a Thursday.
Yeah, much worse.
So I think the set lists were pretty much in the order that we expected them from what we'd seen on previous dates that they'd done recently.
I'll also say this was the coldest fucking night of the lot.
It was absolutely freezing. We were rugged up in hoodies at this point, weren't we?
Yeah, it was really fucking cold. But anyway, Metallica played 16 tracks in total.
Yeah.
With a couple that, well, with one I wasn't expecting, actually.
What was that?
Track 14.
Oh, Fuel. Did I expect that?
I didn't expect Fuel.
Oh, I did. I don't know, well, maybe not expected, but hoped for.
Yeah. No, but I mean, obviously there was a lot of the newer stuff on this night. But I actually think this was the weakest night.
Yeah, of the two. I think I preferred Saturday over as a whole set.
As a whole set, Saturday was better.
But they did have some highlights from this one. Lux Eterno was just good to hear that live. I think that worked really well.
Yeah. And we said that Lux Eterno, like, the trouble is with a lot of their songs off the new album, they go on too long. And Lux Eterno works live, and a lot of the other ones just don't.
Yeah, but I think the way that one went straight into Screaming Suicide, that worked really well as well.
Yeah. And obviously they've got that really tight, but there was also a lot of bits in it that just seemed so self-indulgent.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like, why are you playing this for 15 minutes? You don't need to do that.
I think you do get that with older bands. They do have quite a lot more instrumental interludes.
Some do. I don't think it's something that applies to them all, but...
I mean, often it's so that there can be a costume change as well, but that wasn't really applicable.
No.
Although there was when Lars did break his snare drum, that had to be replaced.
Yeah, they did have to change that.
Also, speaking of Lars, he got that unsuspecting child on stage, which was not impressed.
Oh, yeah.
That was hilarious.
Bawled its eyes out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at first I just assumed it was his own child, but I think it's just a random
Yeah,
child.
I thought it would have been like his own kid or...
Yeah, no, I think he just spotted it in the crowd and, yeah, it's a memory for the child at least.
Yeah.
Later years. Yeah, Nothing Else Matters was great to have a little sing-along to, Into Sad But True.
Yeah.
Nice little Black Album double there. And ended with Master of Puppets, which I think was to be expected, and we did wander off at that point to beat the crowd.
Yeah, as soon as Master of Puppets came on, everybody go crazy. And it's a good time to kind of just slope off, because, everybody's going to go mental for it.
Yeah, you could still hear it, and...
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, you could hear it miles away.
Exactly. Well, yeah, there were complaints
There were
over
a lot
10
of
to 15
complaints.
miles away. Police had complaints, which is quite funny.
Yeah.
Although I don't think it sounded that loud in there, but I guess it was the way the wind was blowing.
The way the wind travelled was what did it. One thing I will say, please download. Can we just keep the Metallica towers?
I was just going to say, one thing we haven't mentioned is those towers. They were awesome.
They were fucking incredible.
So you could see from wherever.
Yeah.
So you've not got that daft big tower in the middle that... I know it serves a vague purpose to the back
but
of
you
the
can only see from one side.
But yeah, I mean, you could see from the guest area on it.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
You could see anywhere.
Yeah, that is a definite bonus.
That needs to stay. We need to steal them from Metallica, keep them forever.
Or just buy some, download Live Nation and ship them around to all your festivals or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just made it look so cool as well, didn't it?
And it made more room.
Yeah, that as well.
It gave everybody a better view. Everybody wasn't kind of funneled in certain places. And, the view, the sound was just so much better.
And just the quality of the images on them as well. Like on the back of the sound tower, it was never that great anyway. It was always quite fuzzy.
Yeah.
I found. Maybe it's just my eyes, but it just looked really cool. It was like really high quality.
It was, yeah. And the way that you split the video feeds between all 5 towers or 6 towers, whatever it was.
Yeah, it just looked really cool.
It was seamless.
You could see all of them. And I love the fact that they used them for all bands on the main stage as well, not just Metallica.
Not just Metallica, yeah. Yeah, that is something that needs to stay.
Yes, please and thank you, Download. When we do the feedback form, we will be mentioning that.
Yes, keep those fucking towers.
Yes. So on to Friday then, which was another fairly late start for us.
Yeah, it was very late.
It was a nice steady day, nicely spread out.
Yeah, not that much that I was too fussed about, I don't think.
No, and the good thing was, because it was nicely spread out, you didn't have to worry about missing someone because you were too hot. There was just one band I missed, which I'll get onto later. So it was a nice chilled morning. We had standard barbecue, showered. I used the Pamper Hut for the first time, but more on that in RIP. And I think the first band I saw on Friday... Actually, the first band I technically saw was Nova Twins, but I watched them from the guest area.
Yeah, I think it still counts if you...
Does it still count?
I think so, because you could still see them.
Still hear them.
Hear them.
Yeah. So they were really good. And then Pupil Slicer was next up for me. Did you come to Pupil Slicer?
No, I didn't, no.
Where were you?
I think I was still at the campsite.
Okay.
Yeah, there was nobody I was particularly too fussed about going to watch in that heat. And I thought I'd just kind of save myself for a little bit later.
Okie dokie. So yeah, I think pretty much caught all of Pupil Slicer and then the majority of Hot Milk. I think I missed the first 2 tracks. But they were really good.
Yeah, did you like them?
Yeah, it was great to see them on the main stage. Just really full of energy, loads of crowd interaction. It was just, really good to see that they've got that far and built themselves up to that point already.
That's good.
Yeah. And then after that, I think I just went up to the Dogtooth to wait for Ingested.
Yeah.
And it was quite hot at that point. I managed to get a little space right at the back in the shade for a bit with a nice cold Pepsi with ice in. Pepsi Cherry with ice.
Yeah, and that was the first band I came up to watch.
Yeah, you met me in there, didn't you?
I did. And Ingested absolutely kicked arse on that stage. They were really cool.
Yeah. Which actually brings me on to one of my first moans of the episode.
Oh no, here we go.
No, it's just, I've not got a problem with people getting shade in the tents because a lot of people are complaining there's not enough shade, which is fair enough. On the other hand, I don't know quite where they can put a lot of shade. And even if they did have some shade around the edges or around stalls, there wouldn't be enough shade. There'd never be enough unless you're going to cover the whole thing with the tarpaulin. There's never going to be enough shade for everybody. So fair enough if you want to go in a tent and get a bit of shade. But when people are not even watching the band that's on, I just think that's rude.
Yeah, don't just stand there just ignoring them.
Yeah, there were people not even looking at them, just standing around talking with their chairs facing the back of the tent. Not necessarily for Ingested, but other points over the weekend, I noticed that.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't begrudge you shade, but when there's people in there to watch the band and they can't see properly because you're standing there having a chat with your massive hat on.
Okay.
There we go. Rant over.
First rant done.
But Ingested were really good.
Yeah, I did like Ingested.
Yeah, glad I saw them. And the next band were also in the Dogtooth.
Yeah. Empire State Bastard.
Yeah, they were a bit good, weren't they?
They were. It actually really surprised me. I didn't know kind of what to expect.
Well, no, I think they've only released, is it 1 track?
Yeah.
Not a lot, at least.
Yeah, I think there might be 2 tracks out now on Spotify.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were absolutely brutal.
Yeah, those vocals of Simon Neil's are very far from Biffy.
Yeah.
Very far from.
And of course it had one of the greatest drummers of all time.
Yeah, which I kind of forgot about until there was a bit of a drum solo section. I was like, that's Dave Lombardo.
Yeah.
Actual Dave Lombardo.
Again.
Yeah. So
it's almost 20 years later, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a moment, wasn't it? Realising that. But yeah, they were really good.
Yeah, I did like them.
Can't wait for them to release more. And I'd say do a tour, but I'm pretty sure it sells out pretty quick because they did some tiny dates, didn't they? Already.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see them again very soon.
And it was quite busy in there, but not as busy as I thought it would have been.
Yeah, I thought it might have been packed out, but
I think they clashed with Pendulum. So
that probably split the crowd a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and I can't remember who else was on at the same time, but yeah, that was one I was very glad to see. And probably one of my highlights of the weekend, actually.
Oh, right, okay.
What is funny as well, doing this and when I was going through photos and stuff, I actually keep forgetting who I've seen. I think, because it was over 4 days as well.
Yeah,
and it's
I've
all a
had
bit
the
of a
same
blur.
issue.
And even when we were there and people were saying, like, who are you looking forward to today? I was like, I don't know.
I really can't remember,
remember. But yeah, that was a highlight. And I think we went to have a bit of shade in the guest area after that.
Yeah.
And then I scurried off to watch Architects. I think I caught most of them.
Yeah, I watched it all from the guest area. And Architects were really good.
They were really good. I think they had some sound issues, which a few bands actually had over the weekend. Sam's vocal did not seem very clear, at least from where I was stood. I don't know if it's just me or not. Or the way the wind was blown, maybe.
It could have been. It didn't sound too bad from the guest area, so it may just have been that.
Okay. I think it was mainly newer stuff that they played as well.
Yeah.
So, which I was happy with, because I'm more of a newer stuff Architects fan.
Yeah.
Don't shoot me down for that. But yeah, it was a really good performance. Sam's a really good front man. Loads of energy, loads of crowd interaction, and some awesome glittery trousers. One thing that he did say, actually, that was interesting, that they had to cut their set short because Pendulum ran over.
Yeah, which I don't get why that was even allowed to happen.
Where's the stage management in there?
Yeah, cut the fucking thing short.
If Pendulum were running over, they need to be finished. If they started late and therefore were running late, then that's their fault.
That's their problem, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't agree with another band or another act overrunning into somebody else's time. It's like, you've got an allotted time, just cut your you've got to get your stuff cut. It doesn't matter if you play 20 minutes and you should have 30.
Exactly. We've seen people get cut before on stage at festivals, haven't we? So,
festivals, gigs, anywhere.
So yeah, for what I did see of them though, they were great.
Yeah, I think that would be my actually first gripe of the day. For people, for them allowing that to happen.
Yeah. And at that point, we were intending to see Gwar, but Gwar actually got moved on to Saturday anyway because it had some delay in arriving.
Yeah, so I don't know who moved to there. I
don't quite know. I think there were a few changes going on as and when with different times. I've seen people say that set times did get moved and it got updated on the app, but
I didn't get the notifications, though.
Well, no, but we didn't have much signal.
Well, yeah.
Which isn't really a rant. I guess it's more just on a bad point. It just wasn't great, but with that many people. Like last year it was fine, I found. I know it probably depends what network you're on.
Yeah, I was fine last year. But this year I had no signal.
It was very rare. I had some little bursts here and there, mainly first thing in the morning and last thing at night.
Yeah.
And the odd bit in the arena to get a message to you to say where I was and vice versa.
Yeah.
But yeah, at that point, I did intend to see Evanescence, but I was quite near the front on the right-hand side for Architects, and I just did not have the energy to traipse all the way to the second stage. And I'm glad I didn't, because people were saying that was probably the busiest it was. Or one of the busiest, to the point where people were saying it was dangerously overcrowded. Which
really surprises me. I didn't think they'd pull that many people.
No, a lot of people saying they should have been on main stage. So, although I was sad not to see them, I'm kind of glad I didn't make the effort to walk up there, because...
And get disappointed and get anywhere to see it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I heard people saying they actually left. It was that busy. They couldn't cope with how busy it was around there. And I didn't go and see Vilvelo at that point either.
No.
Which I did say I wouldn't do. I don't think you believe me.
I didn't believe you. I thought you would definitely go and see Vilvelo.
No, like I said in the preview, I don't think he would have done anything different to what he did at the Nottingham show. I can't see what he would have done different, really. So it would have been a long walk to the Avalanche just to see something I'd already seen, and probably not as good in that setting.
Yeah, not compared to a dark venue like City.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. Then it was the headline act for the night. Bring Me the Horizon.
Yes.
What were your thoughts?
Amazing.
Yeah, I thought they were probably the best headliner of the weekend.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. And I wasn't a massive fan beforehand. Again, as we said in the preview, we're more kind of middle ground. A couple of the newer stuff I like, but yeah, they were absolutely amazing. The whole production, the whole setup, the whole show, absolutely deserved a headline.
Yeah.
And it was almost like they came out with a point to prove. Because so many people saying they shouldn't, but they absolutely proved that they deserve to be there.
Yeah, nailed it.
Start to finish.
It wasn't as busy as Metallica the night before, but Metallica are always going to pack it out.
And at this point, I discovered the whole turnstile to get to the front system existed.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, which was new for this year. So you had your barrier was actually quite a little way back from the front of the stage, and then there's a turnstile either side that you had to queue to let into, actually get to the front for that. Obviously Metallica had their snake pit again, which was a whole different thing. You had to get your special wristband for that. But
Which shouldn't exist at a festival, by the way.
no.
Third rant.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. And I think it's a combination of friends, family and famous people that got the wristbands and maybe a few randoms from what I'd read. But anyway, this whole turnstile thing, if nobody saw it while they were there, you kind of queued up at the side. So I stood, and I think I must have been there for about 8 tracks looking at that. I mean, I could see the screens, I could see the stage in the distance, so it was fine. And there must have been about 50 of us maybe queuing. I was kind of at the front of one of the turnstiles. Some people got impatient and jumped over and got quickly pulled back.
Yeah.
So it was there. I'm assuming it was a crowd safety feature with it being so sold out. So
that's why I assume it was.
It was a little bit frustrating because you could see people leaving and they weren't letting any more in, and security were definitely power tripping and implying that we weren't going to get let in, and said to some people, just go and watch from over there. But I was like, if I walk away and they let people in, I'll be really annoyed. So eventually we did get let in, and then it was like a run to the edge of the front bit.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the security in general was actually really good.
I thought a lot of people have been complaining about them, but didn't have any issues myself.
No, apart from there not being enough of them.
Yeah.
I think the people that were there did a fine job.
And obviously they've been instructed to not let people through till a certain point. So that's fair enough. It was just frustrating. It was quite amusing when they played Shadow Moses and we all sang We're Going Nowhere, because at that point we were going nowhere.
Yeah.
So, there's a bit of camaraderie going on.
Yeah. Yeah. They did a really, really quite a long set from what I remember.
Yeah, it was. Just looking at the set list now, so I could remember all of it. 17 tracks, and it was a good mix of not a lot of old, but
there was a couple in there.
There was a couple in there, and yeah, just a good mix. I thought they played pretty much everything I wanted them to play.
Yeah, I felt that too. Yeah,
yeah. Highlights, just mentioned Shadow Moses. One by one, they brought Nova Twins out.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
So you did actually get to see the Nova Twins.
I did properly see Nova Twins, and also Amy Lee came out for One Day the Only Butterflies, and
so you technically saw Evanescence.
Yeah, and Nihilist Blues as well, so that was bonus, I guess.
Yeah.
But it kind of made sense because she was there anyway.
Well, yeah.
What else was she going to do for the rest of the night?
You kind of tick some boxes off, even if you didn't originally.
Yeah.
I know what I mean.
And then the encore was Drown, Throne and Can You Feel My Heart, which are pretty much 3 of my favourite tracks of theirs. Yeah. So that was like a perfect ending. But we had lots of confetti, loads of pyros. All the lighting set up on the stage was amazing. Had big balls bouncing about.
Wow. Don't know what to say about that. It was a good end to a Friday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think that was... they were definitely my favourite headliner.
Yeah. They just had so much more energy. It's like Metallica are awesome, but they're just Metallica, and they get on there and, okay, Lars has got his different drum kits he moves around, and they've got the snake pit to walk around, and you get your twiddly guitar solos and pyro. But in comparison to that, it was just a very steady thing to watch, Metallica.
Yeah, I think, like you said, they got a point to prove to people that said they shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And they absolutely pulled it off, absolutely nailed it.
Absolutely.
And that was Friday.
So yeah, we'll leave it there for this episode. Do let us know what your highlights of Thursday and Friday were, who your favourites were. Coming up, we'll have more on our experience of RIP this year, and obviously we'll talk about the bands we saw on Saturday and Sunday. But for now, thank you for listening, as always. Don't forget you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at ReadyToMoshCast, and on Facebook, TikTok and YouTube at Ready to Mosh. We've got lots of pictures and videos on there already and more to come, so you can actually see what we've been talking about. And do please give us a 5-star rating on your podcast platform. We would really like that. And a review would be absolutely lovely. And we'll be back next time. Make it stop, Moog.